What's up, peeps? We're back. As always, I'm your host, Lee Benz, and this is the AEW Insider. We've been away for a while. It's because of equipment. I ordered a bunch of equipment for WrestleMania week. You get it here, really didn't test it out. You go use it, and it's a bunch of crap, honestly. So I got a new gimbal and all that, blah, blah, blah. Gonna do my best. I got a lot of WrestleMania footage. I put a video up on YouTube. It looks like crap. Was down there for a whole week, went to like 11 events, and just nothing really came of it. So I got really frustrated. So I'm back to what I used to do. I've been doing a podcast though every week. Excuse me. Once a week, twice a week, sometimes 4 times a week, depending on what's going on. Because I cover everything, but we covered the elite because that's what this is about, AEW, baby. So definitely check us out on Twitter. It's the AEW Insider 1, and on Facebook and YouTube under the AEW Insider. We got a pretty big show, so let's get into some news. Before, another reason too why I did stop doing it is because I used to always read off a paper. I don't know how these guys on YouTube do it, how they could just sit there, they talk like, what's up? Do they have a teleprompter, what have you? Maybe if I make it big one day, I'll be able to do that. But instead of reading a paper, I'm just going to read off the computer and edit a bunch of videos and pictures in, and we'll see how it goes, because that was frustrating also. All right, but like I said, let's get into this week's news. In huge AEW news, it was confirmed that AEW will premiere Wednesday, October 2nd. So definitely will be Wednesday night. It wasn't announced if it was going to be called Wednesday Night Dynamite. You know what I mean? We don't know yet. But it will premiere Wednesday, October 2nd. And literally SmackDown is premiering 2 days later on Fox. So, I mean, it's going to be a war. So that is great, though, to have a definite start date. It'll be a live 2-hour show every week. And we're all excited about that. All right, on this week's Being the Elite, it was released Monday. It was another great show. It will be a sad day when they get too busy or pay too much, or they'll be too busy, actually, to keep doing the Elite. Hopefully somebody will take it over, what have you, because the show is great, honestly. Over the years, it highlighted and made so many stars out of wrestlers. Not saying they weren't stars already, but definitely put a spotlight on them and helped accelerate their career, and the Young Bucks never asked anything back for it. We had Marco. It had also Marco Stunt. Marco Stunt, if you don't know, I always want to say the kid's 17, but I believe he's like maybe 21, 23 years old. But he's like 5 foot something. He's like 90 pounds. But what he could do in his ring and in the ring is amazing. On last week's episode, you seen him get picked on. This week, he was walking down the hallway looking at his cell phone, and he bumped into Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. So Jungle Boy tapped Luchasaurus on the shoulder, made him put him on the floor. He sniffed, you know what I mean? Marco, he checked him out, and then Luchasaurus started talking. Luchasaurus is great. That guy's college educated. He's got degrees and all that, but he's playing a Luchasaurus. He's a lucha wrestler, but he looks like a mask. He's got a green tongue and all that. But when he talks, instead of being a lizard, he's highly intelligent, which makes his gimmick even more better. It's even more funny. Listen to me, more better. He was going to say even better or more funny. It's both. But anyway, Luchasaurus pretty much told them that he was bullying himself for like so many hundreds of thousands of years because he's a dinosaur, and that Marco could roll with them. So Marco said, hey, wait up, and he chased after them. So now we do have a boy in this dinosaur, which is Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, and they also got Marco Stunt. Those three are going to be huge, I'm telling you. Just mark my words. They also covered that tag team, The Dark Order. The Dark Order is awesome. I haven't seen them before they were in AEW. I didn't even know who the guys were. But the guys are awesome. One of them is just, a kind of skinny, buff guy with a big beard, kind of looks like a Viking. And the other one's like a dude over 300 pounds, and he's got a black mask on. And they got these minions with them. And they don't want to be called minions. I forget. I did have the name where I said it last week what they want to be called. But they have these guys with them, and they literally make a human throne for the big dude to sit in. But they will be facing Best Friends at All Out, the upcoming AEW pay-per-view, and the winner of that does get a bye because they're going to have a huge tag team tournament once television starts for the AEW tag team belts. So the winner at All Out of the Dark Order and Best Friends gets a shot. They're really cool. I thought it was awesome. They had a great BET mailbag this week. This is when they have one wrestler, 2 or 3, actually answer a fan letter or question, in their mailbag. Fan asked Hangman Page a really good question that I always wanted to know. Because if you didn't know, Hangman Page used to be a teacher at school. And he used to be a teacher at school, like I was saying. Sorry, I just seen this is screwed up. Don't mind me. And he used to actually teach students, and then he would make up a plan that wasn't even that great. He even says that himself. You know what I mean? For students on the weekend, and then he would wrestle on the weekend. But they asked him if he still talks to any of their students, or they still reach out to him, and he said absolutely yes, he does. And not only that, he said that if he ever comes to their town where they live at, doesn't matter where they're at, just get in contact with him over social media or what have you, and he will actually send them free tickets to one of his shows, which is awesome. They also asked him if he would ride a horse to the ring. And of course, he already asked that. He said he thinks it would be badass. He's talked to several different people in AEW, and he's pissed off because the answer every time is a resounding no. So as of right now, they won't let him ride a horse to the ring, which I think, of course, with the audience and all that, it'll spook the horse, lawsuits, blah, blah, blah. It would be cool, though, but I don't think it'll happen unless maybe they have it outside one time and it's spaced out. I don't know. Who knows? They asked Michael Nakazawa if there will be an AEW mid-card title, kind of like the Intercontinental title or the US title or the television title, and he said absolutely there will be, and he wants to win it. And then the Young Bucks did cut a promo for their upcoming ladder match against the Lucha Brother for the Triple H titles. It was a great episode this week, boys. If you hear that beeping, please don't mind it. Literally, for like the last week and a half, every morning, like 6-something in the morning, the 4 or 5 fire alarms in this house just go off at the same time for no reason. So I literally took the batteries out of them because it wouldn't stop. One day it was like an hour and a half. Then when you take the batteries out of them, it's beeping even though it's hardwired because there's no battery. So I can't win. I'm trying to figure it out, so please, just don't mind. All right, in other news, in AEW news, good old JR was asked by Vince to return for Monday night's Raw reunion show. Even bigger than that, Tony Khan gave JR the okay to do it. Also, ex-WWE wrestlers Bully Ray and Bret Hart were asked to appear, and they both declined also. On this week's Road to All Out, they had Chris Van Vliet as a segment host. If you listen to my weekly podcast, I always talk about Chris Van Vliet. The guy is awesome. He does more interviews with these wrestlers than you ever seen. And literally, if you ever watch a WWE show or any wrestling show, they, if they're introducing something, if they're going over a storyline, what have you, they'll have a host. And it looks like he's standing, it's a green screen, but it looks like he's standing like a TV studio. Chris Van Vliet is actually one of them. He was on this episode. So I hope it's permanent. He looks the role. He kicks ass, and that guy's awesome. So congratulations, bro, because you friggin' believe. I mean, you deserve it, seriously. All right, and also too, I seen Young Bucks, Matt Jackson was on Twitter, and he told people, take your shot, saying like, if you wanted to work for them too, you know what I mean, here's your chance, pitch me. Little AJ is awesome on Twitter. He's a 9-year-old. He's at every wrestling event. He's the bomb interviewer, and wrestlers even take him serious and give him interviews. I seen him throw his hat in the ring. I seen something was said, I don't know if it's serious, so I don't want to say anything, but we'll see. But it was cool. But Chris Van Vliet, congratulations, bro. A new match was announced for All Out, speaking of. It's a 3-way. It does include Bad Boy Joey Janela, Darby Allin, and Jimmy Havoc. These 3 were just a tag team last month when they went against MJF, Sean Spears, what have you. All 3 of them are crazy AF in the head. So, I mean, this match is going to be friggin' awesome. It definitely could steal the show. StarCast got the wrestler they have wanted forever. It is official that CM Punk himself will be at StarCast next month. They have packages to meet him. You can get a cup, a pin, artwork, what have you. I can only imagine how much they're charging. He and StarCast are going to make a boatload of money that weekend. It also came out that AEW offered CM Punk 2 AEW contracts so far. It seems like a big problem with that is that they did it through text message. This is what Punk had to say about it. The last thing I got a text from Cody Rhodes. And again, I almost don't even know how to reply to them sometimes. Because if I reply, then they'll do interviews and they're like, oh yeah, I just talked to Punk. And I'm kind of damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. I always think if somebody wants to do business with me, they can come talk to me. Texting offers isn't really a way to do good business, at least. And then he said about another time, it was texted through 3 people and an offer came through in text. This was like a month ago, maybe. I think it was just a general offer. I never could have done the Las Vegas show, Double or Nothing, because I was in California for CFFC. So that's pretty crazy to hear that, because, I mean, nobody really knows what's going on behind the scenes. A few days later, Cody Rhodes heard about it, of course, like everybody else did, and his reply in the tweet on Twitter was, I think he was misquoted, speaking of Punk. I know one of us had met with him in person, and yes, I texted him plenty, but we couldn't connect on the actual phone, but not a contracted offer. I wouldn't be surprised if he went back to WWE. Regardless, great wrestler and guy, the door is open if he wants it. Who knows? All right. Chris Jericho also killed it on his podcast this week on Talk is Jericho. He did a 60-minute interview with none other than MJF. MJF went over how he's better than you, of course, wearing Burberry scarves, his best friend forever, Cody, Hangman Page, Shawn Spears, and more. It's a can't-miss episode, so definitely check out Talk is Jericho. AEW was also featured in TV Guide this week. It had all the main players there, the big stars, some of the females, and even Tony Khan himself. So definitely check out that article and the pictures that are online. All right, we'll get into some WWE news now. It was reported by TMZ that Jimmy Uso was busted for his second DUI this year. Now, I know you know this news came out a couple weeks ago. It was on my podcast. Oh, yeah, speaking about the podcast, I apologize. The podcast does awesome, yada, yada. I recorded a show last week. Come to find out the second half never recorded. I did it again, and it did it again. So I did take it down from all social media platforms, but I couldn't control it from like going out on Spotify, YouTube, Google, what have you. Not YouTube, but like, Apple, Google, what have you. So it's actually got listens and all that. So I don't want you guys think I cheated you, blah, 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 what have you. I skipped that whole first part pretty much, besides the AEW news, but I'm not going over SmackDown like I did in the podcast. So I'm going to finish the podcast with the rest of this news that I did curate over time, and then we got this too. So I just want to apologize real quick. But Jimmy Uso again was busted for his second DUI this year. He got busted in February, a couple months ago. There was no punishment, what have you. He must think that he's the Teflon Don, because his Rock is his cousin, Roman Reigns is his cousin, Nyla Rose, even though that's not a great thing in WWE eyes, and they know his brother and him really probably can't make it on their own. They're a team together, so they've been letting him slide and all that. But this time I heard that Vince is pissed. People in backstage are very, very worried about him for his wife and his own life. Like, they almost about to leave him, Trinity, what have you. So, I mean, best of luck, Usos, but I mean, anybody else would have been gone, man. It's bullcrap. All right, there was an update that was the update I was going to say. Oh, no, there was an update on his hiatus about how they were feeling about him. He is being put on a break hiatus, just like they did with Alicia, crazy as a fox, a couple months ago. And like I said, the higher-ups are concerned about him throwing away his career, his marriage, what have you. So all the best to you, Us. On Twitter, Randy Orton and Will Ospreay exchanged words. Will Ospreay is in New Japan. If you ask me, he's the best wrestler in New Japan since all the other boys left, but even besides that, he was. And he's one of the best wrestlers in the world, definitely top 5. But they didn't go back and forth like douche Seth Rollins did. He's been going crazy the last couple of weeks on Twitter. But Twitter, Randy and him were tweeting back and forth, and Randy actually tweeted Orton versus Ospreay with the date June 2020, which means that Randy Orton's WWE contract is up in 2020. That's definitely a good sign. That means that he does not want to re-sign with them. And I'm not knocking him. They treat Randy Orton pretty good, but not really also. I mean, with his status, his money and all that, but not really. His wife has been very, very verbal on Twitter and online a lot of times. And usually when WWE superstars, wives or girlfriends do that, they get shut down the kibosh quick. But nobody really says anything to his wife. She's no joke, and she's fine as hell. But like the Raw reunion show, even though Randy Orton's been there and he's one of the biggest stars, just because he was on SmackDown, they didn't have him on the Raw reunion show or the 25th anniversary. And him and his wife were both at different times about that. So it is crazy, but I mean, they do treat him right otherwise, money-wise, status, what have you. But this tweet to Will Ospreay, to me, tells me that he's not going to resign in June 2020. When his contract's up, he's going to go on the indies like everybody else. He's going to be a free agent at first, go to New Japan, Ring of Honor, do exactly what Cody Rhodes did, and then finally he's going to decide a place to sign and finish out his career. So, I mean, that's very, very exciting because I love Randy Orton. I met him in person in Wilkes-Barre around here years ago when he first started. Nicest guy ever. He's done all he can do in WWE. There's nothing left for him to do. So now he's got to go, you know what I mean? Go finish off his career with some accomplishments that he wouldn't be able to accomplish if he was still with WWE. All right, and big news, WWE ticket sales are declining. They booked 2 tape shows at the Mecca, Madison Square Garden in New York City. They booked them 2 days in a row, Raw and SmackDown. They're 2 biggest shows besides a pay-per-view. Normally, that sells out ASAP. AEW, you put a pay-per-view up, it's selling out in minutes. Ticket sales are in the toilet. People aren't even buying them up like that. Eventually, and of course, they will sell, but it's just bad, man. There's too many options out there, which is good, and WWE's product is shit. Unless they do a major change, it's going to be like that. So who knows? We'll talk about NXT. I talked about Raw and SmackDown on the podcast. If you want to hear that, definitely check it out. AEW Insider on all major platforms. Google Play, iTunes, Spotify, Breaker Radio, what have you. It's the bomb, and you're fans of the bomb. I do it all the time. But anyway, we'll talk about NXT real quick. I didn't think it was too great this week, and I almost never say that because NXT is my favorite. Pete Dunne did come out to interrupt Roderick Strong and the Velveteen Dream. Velveteen Dream and Roderick Strong are going to be fighting for that title at the pay-per-view coming up in Canada before SummerSlam. And Pete Dunne's back on NXT, a regular NXT, not NXT UK, and a Bruiserweight wants in that match. So who knows? There's serious talk that WWE might launch an NXT Canada brand also, which would be cool because I love NXT. So if it is going to happen, you know they're going to announce it when they're in Canada for SummerSlam and NXT, of course. All right, there's a lot of talk going on saying Trish Stratus will have a match at SummerSlam because it's in Canada. So they always want legends and stars from Canada to be on their show. They would love to have Jericho right now and a perfect 10 Ty Dillinger, Sean Spears, what have you. But of course Trish is going to do it. You know what I mean? A big money cash grab real quick. And I even seen Bayley tweet out to her on Twitter and say, hey, would you like to have a championship match with me? Bayley's the worst champion. I mean, honestly, dude, take that belt away from her. I mean, it's garbage. All right. Also, another HBK match was kind of teased. He got into a verbal argument with AJ Styles, and AJ told him at the end, don't think I don't know where NXT is. Now, as we know, SmackDown is starting on Fox October, 2 days after NXT starts, blah, 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 whatever, on a Friday night. WWE is so shady and so scared, even though AEW is not a threat. And if I didn't say AEW, I meant that they want to put NXT up against AEW, like on Fox Sports 1. And they're going to be bringing major stars on NXT to help them with it. So right here's a hint of what's going to happen, because AJ Styles is going to be coming. Like he said, he told Shawn Michaels, don't think I don't know where NXT is. I can't even say that 5 times fast. But he said that to him because Shawn Michaels is an NXT coach. He's a trainer. He's a producer. He's behind the scenes, what have you. So either AJ and Shawn Michaels will fight at something big, or AJ's going to go after one of Shawn's, disciples, one of his people he's mentoring, what have you. So that'll be coming up in the future, which would be really cool because they're both great legends. Rob Van Dam retweeted a meme of himself. It was awesome. It was a meme of him coming down the Monday Night Raw ramp. You see Raw in the background, and the meme said, when you're so high and you show up for Raw instead of Impact Wrestling. The meme was hilarious, and it was even better because Rob Van Dam himself retweeted it out. Good stuff. John Cena brought his new girlfriend of 4 months, his 29-year-old girlfriend, backstage for the reunion show, and they were all over each other. They're totally in love. They love each other. They want to be with each other, blah, 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 what have you. And it's just crazy because it's just like Nikki Bella's gone. She didn't mean anything, yada, yada. Relationships do happen like that, and they do end, what have you. But that's just a little bit crazy. I mean, who knows? But I've seen fans. Fans are crazy, too. They're out of control. I've seen them all over Facebook. They've got, like, John Cena with his girl in restaurants and all that, and they're taking the creepiest pictures of them. Yeah, they're all over each other. They're in the beginning of a relationship. Everybody knows the honeymoon period. Everybody's got their own faces on their facades. It goes good at first. You know, John Cena's like, you can't see me, the evil Cena. Within months, we'll have her signing the contract and she'll be a slave of this house. But anyway, you creeps out there, when you see them, man, that's not cool. Those pictures don't even look right. You guys are messed up. But anyway, they're all over each other, and people are saying he's gushing over her more than he ever gushed over Nikki Bella. Who knows? There is also talks of a live coverage show after SmackDown when it airs on Fox. It will be called After the Bell. From what I hear, it's going to be a show like Talking Smack. Talking Smack was one of my favorite shows. Talking Smack was so awesome. When SmackDown went over, Talking Smack came on. It was Renee Young and Daniel Bryan, and they would have stars from the show on, or just stars in general, and it was live, and it was just off the chain sometimes. So I hope it's going to be like that, but I think it'll be more like a Fox NFL talk show that they do. So who knows? But it's still cool that there'll be a live show of coverage after SmackDown. It's also being leaked that Daniel Bryan, this big secret that Daniel Bryan has, what's the secret, blah, blah, blah. I thought he was going to have to retire again, God forbid. Kind of find out, it said he's going to be moving at 205 Live. And I would kick ass. He's another one like Randy Orton. Where can he go? There's nothing for him to go, nowhere for him to go except different things to do that you haven't done. So how we wanted to make this tag team title is great again, which he didn't do because it's garbage. He's going to go to 205 hopefully and like kick some ass. So we'll see what happens with that. Anything Daniel Bryan does is pretty much cool, man, for real. I reported months ago that WWE sold their headquarters in Connecticut, and they're moving not too far away. But a report came that in their new building, there will be a fan area, which is really cool because the old building, it's not like you can just walk in there and want to see, like, you know, a couple memorabilias, even though it was all around or blah, blah, blah. This one actually has an area when they'll do shows. You could be in a live audience. There'll be little tours around. You can see how they've done. Different superstars are there, here and there. You can actually meet them. There'll be a gift shop. So that's really, really cool. And my daughter and I will definitely be going down to see it when it does open, and we'll have some footage of that. All right. During the second quarter, the financials for WWE, you know what I mean, their standings and all that came for the second quarter of the year, how good they did, what have you. And Vince McMahon did a phone call to the media so everybody could get it. What he said about it is that we just haven't come anywhere. He was asked, I guess, about AEW. I don't know what he was asked, but this was a statement. But I guess maybe he was asked about competition or hinting towards it. But he said they just haven't come anywhere close, actually, to going to another level. Talking about WWE themselves. He said there will be something new that we do in terms of direction of content, more controversy, better storylines, what have you. But at the same time, we're not going back to the Attitude Era, and we're not going to do the blood and guts or things of that nature, such as being done or on perhaps a new competitor, talking at AEW. They stay taking jabs even though they act like they don't exist. He said, we're not going to go back to that gory crap that we graduated from, and I can't imagine that TNT will put up with that. So stupid. It also came to light that Vince McMahon rewrote the Tuesday's episode of SmackDown 4 hours before it went live on air. And also then Vince, Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, and all the other like 5 higher ups, as high as you can go in WWE, they knew that the earnings for their second quarter for WWE was really shitty. So they all sold over 100,000 stocks. So say like Stephanie sold 177, Vince sold 160, Bruce Pritchard sold 132. They all sold well over 130,000 stocks each, from anywhere from $72 to $76 a piece. Had all the people buy them up and shit like that. Then they released the second quarter and like, surprise bitches, everything's down, ratings, WWE Network, what have you. Enjoy your stock that just went in the toilet some more. So I mean, it's just real fucked up, but that's what they did. And excuse my language. All right. Well, also about the WWE Network, since we're talking about stocks in the second quarter, they lost 300,000 subscribers since WrestleMania in April. They now have 1.69 million subscribers, and it's estimated by the next quarter, third quarter, they're going to lose 8% more, and their subscribers will be dropping to 1.53 million. Their shareholders are pissed. I tweeted a pic of the new WWE Network tier and the price points for it. I don't know if it's real or not, but it's the first thing I seen of it. It looked legit, but anybody can make them up. But from what I seen, there were 4 different tiers and 4 different prices. And there are 3 different prices. Maybe the first is free, I forget. But there's 4 different tiers, and some come with some stuff, some come with none, and the highest plan comes with them all. We all been paying $9.99 a month. With that, you're still going to get the pay-per-views and NXT, which is good. But for $15 a month, you're going to get other stuff too, like special shows they're only doing for that. You get special access, tickets first to live events. You also get like special things going on, meet and greets, what have you. To me, it's not worth $15 a month. I'm not paying that. I'll stick with the $10 a month. I don't like it, but we'll see how it goes. And then also too, they've overhauled their whole network. The way the whole menu and navigation screen was, it's changed now. I like it for the better. You see people bitching about it, but who knows? All right, real quick. Some of the sources we get our news from are the Wrestling Observer, PW Insider, Fightful.com, Wrestle Talk, Cultaholic, Sean's View, Ringside News, Pro Wrestling Sheet, WWFOldSchool.com, Bodyslam.net, and Sam Roberts, just to name a few. This weekend, NXT star Bianca Belair and her boyfriend, Street Profits Montez Ford. I had no idea those two were dating. It ain't a big deal to me, but usually it comes out. But they look good together. Best of luck to you both. They went to the Trap Music Hall of Fame in Memphis or Atlanta, no, in Atlanta together. So that's good. Best of luck in your relationship, you two. The Undertaker will wrestle a few more matches before WrestleMania next year to get the ring rust off. He will be doing big shows like SummerSlam, Saudi Arabia, what have you. Speaking of SummerSlam, if his opponent is who it's rumored to be now, fans are not going to be happy. Talk backstage is that Taker will be fighting none other than WWE and everybody's current favorite heel, Baron Corbin. I'll just leave that right there. Talks have started for the 2020 inductees for WWE Hall of Fame. The 2 big names going around right now, Arcane and The Big Show. So that'll be awesome. They're both beasts, and I've seen a list of everything they have accomplished in both their careers. Please, they should have been in. X-Pac does a show called X-Pac 360. It's on podcast and on YouTube. He did a crazy, awesome interview with Scott Hall. They talked about all the stuff backstage at the Raw reunion that happened Monday we didn't get to see. So definitely check it out. All these stories, all these videos, everything I talk about are on all our social media. It's the AEW Insider 1 on Twitter and AEW Insider on Facebook and YouTube. So definitely check us out. All right, let me see. All right, there are talks that WWE plan on having an all-female edition of SmackDown when they start. Like how they did that Women's Evolution pay-per-view last year. They're going to have one show that's all women. So, I mean, I'm definitely down to watch some sexy women for 2 hours. You already know that. Dave Bautista said he would come back, but as a non-wrestler in a non-wrestling role. And, you know, he was supposed to retire at WrestleMania, but his movie career right now, besides Marvel, I don't know. That Stuber just like totally flopped his last movie. And if you watch that WWE Network special they did on him, he was even saying himself that he knows there's that being an actor, there's a time limit on that. So he wants to get into making movies, because when his career doesn't work out as an actor or it fizzles out, he can make movies. And it also looks like he's leaving the door open for WWE too, Mr. Retired, because he's saying he'd go back, but he wouldn't be a wrestler. So, hey, man, anything that keeps that money coming in, you know what I mean, Batista? Fan trolled AJ Styles online and called his title run fake. AJ said, your account is fake, you troll. And he said, no, excuse me, the guy was trolling AJ Styles. I apologize. And AJ, he let the guy get to him, and he said, don't listen to this guy. He's a fake troll account, blah, blah, blah. And the guy said, yeah, like your current title run is fake. And then AJ pretty much just said again, he's got a fake account, what have you. But the guy tore him up, and that title run is garbage. It's stupid as hell. Like you know, like I talk about in the podcast, I do post a match of the week this week. I've got awesome clips that'll blow your mind. So check check those out. But the match I picked for the match of the week was the Rock and Mankind Empty Arena match. So definitely check that out on Twitter, Facebook, AEW Insider 1 on Twitter, AEW Insider on all other outlets. All right, real quick, let's get to some NWA news. This week's episode of 10 Pounds of Gold was awesome. It featured their newest star, Eli Drake. And his eyes are set on that 10-pound of gold. Mark my words, he will be the next NWA champ. I don't know if he's going to beat Nick Aldis the first time, the second time, what have you. The next NWA champion will be Eli Drake. And it was a good episode, so check it out. It also came to light that Ring of Honor and NWA have decided to stop their working relationship together. And that really sucks because Nick Aldis has been doing good stuff on Ring of Honor and some other ones too. It's always good to see them. So I hope they work that out, man, because that stinks. These guys don't need to stop working together. You need to work together so we can get... People want to see who they want to see. They don't care who they're signed to, who's paying them. They want to see them. They want to see their dream matches. Work together. It's good business for everybody, which you know, especially in these last couple of years. Impact Wrestling. Impact has been very strong as of late. You can catch it for free on Friday nights on Twitch. Twitch TV, it comes on 10 at night and it's free. It's awesome. This week, OVE. They remember Jack Christ beat Rich Swann for the X Division title. Of course, he had help for the rest of OVE, but don't worry about that. He went backstage. He told Sami Callihan he won. Sami said, no, we won. OVE won that X Division title. But then he smiled and he said, I'm proud of you. I'm happy of you. He was real happy for him. Then Jake said that I did something you couldn't do, which means beat Rich Swann for the title. So then Sami got pissed, of course. And then, Jake Christ also said that he now wants to be called the Golden Draw. And Sami Callihan, of course, is the draw. And Sami said he didn't like that. He said the belt is silver. It's not even gold, you idiot. You're not going to be the Golden Draw. And then the rest of OVE chimed in and said that it's actually white gold. But Sami still said it's a stupid idea and he's not hearing that. But congratulations to Chris for beating the shit out of Rich Swann. You're awesome, bro. To end the show, they also had Michael Elgin attack and decimate Brian Cage, their champion. There's been a mass wrestler who's been interfering with him doing that the last couple of weeks. As he destroyed Brian Cage from the back all the way into the ring, the mass wrestler came out, but this time Michael Elgin was ready for him, so he caught him. He was about to unmask him, and another masked guy came out from behind the thing. The masked guy speared Elgin, or should I say, actually gored Elgin, because he took off his mask and it was ECW legend Rhino. So we all knew it was him by his movements, by his body shape, what have you, but it's been confirmed, and that's awesome. Because I like Elgin, but he doesn't play a bad guy. The role they got him in is just stupid. But it's better in New Japan when they really didn't appreciate the cat, to be honest. Also during this episode, a little side note, which is really cool, Rob Van Dam came out at one point, and they had no problem talking about him smoking marijuana and how much he loves it. Medical marijuana this, medical marijuana that. It was very cool. Speaking of that, somebody asked Bruce Pritchard, what WWE superstar smoked the most weed? He said, hands down, Rob Van Dam. That's current, that is. For legends, it was none other than Ernie Ladd. He said Ernie Ladd smoked more than a chimney. So those were the two, the last two generations of WWE. This week Impact Wrestling is having their end of summer tour, and they're broadcasting 3 nights in a row. First one you got to pay for if you're a subscriber to Impact Plus. The other one's Saturday nights on Twitch TV for free, and the third one is a live taped event. There's a lot of Impact this week for you. I've seen them live. It's a small production and all that, but it's awesome. Impact was a good time, seriously. All right, New Japan. Everybody knows New Japan. If not, you definitely better check it out. It's the bomb. John Moxley's over there right now whooping some ass. It's their G1 tournament. Their G1 is a tournament pretty much. They have Block A. They'll have like 8 or 10 wrestlers, and Block B. And they compete for like a month or more than that straight. Pretty much like nights in a row. It's crazy. And whoever wins, you get points. 2 points, 10 points, blah, 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 what have you. And then the winner of the G1, I believe, fights for their main title. So at their WrestleMania in January, it's called Wrestle Kingdom. Whoever wins a G1 fights for that belt, fights the champion for the belt. So it's awesome. As of right now, Jon Moxley is undefeated in the G1. He hasn't been beat in New Japan. He actually beat Naito. Naito's one of their top stars last night. But right now, the current standings for the G1 are the A block. Leading it is Okada. I cannot stand Okada. People love Okada over there. He's their man. He's their main guy. He's the worst. He's 5-0, and he's leading a Block A with 10 points. With 8 points right behind him in second place is Kenta. With 6 points, there is a 4-way tie, and these guys shouldn't even be there. They should be on top. Kota Ibushi, first of all, should be at the top. He's 3-2. You have Evo, and you have Hiroshi Tanahashi. With 4 points, you actually have Will Ospreay. That is a goddamn travesty. Will Ospreay is one of the best in the world right now. He should be number 1. But with 4 points, there is Will Ospreay and Lance Archer. And with 2 points, there is Bad Luck Fale and Sonata. Sonata doesn't deserve that either. All right, let me see. All right, we do have Block B now. Leading Block B with 8 points and who's 4-0 is Jon Moxley, Dean Ambrose. In second place is my dog, ex-NXT WWE star Juice Robinson. He's 3-1 with 6 points. With 4 points, you have Tagagi, Taichi, Naito, Ishii, and Yano. They're all 2-2. And with 2 points, you do have Goto, Switchblade Jay White, which is insane. Jay White is one of the best they have right now. He was just their last heavyweight champion. They got him with 2 points at 1-3 in the G1. Fucked up. And then you have Jeff Cobb also. So right there's the G1. If you don't know about it, I'm telling you, subscribing to New Japan Pro Wrestling is awesome. Because not like WWE when you get pay-per-views every month. Well, it's $10 a month, and it's just not like WWE when you get one pay-per-view a month or here and there. When they have a pay-per-view per month, it literally lasts the whole friggin' month. There's matches, there's tournaments, tag teams, cruiserweight, just whatever. All the time, it's just ongoing, and it's dope. So definitely check it out if you haven't, man. New Japan is awesome. All right, that's done with wrestling news right now. I always mix a little other stuff in a podcast. I do give people a chance to tune out if they want to. But with wrestling, if you love wrestling, you're a dork. And I don't mean that in a bad way. That's a good way. Dorks, nerds, and all that are cool now. People who usually like wrestling, like action figures, pops, toys, movies, video games, women, music, what have you. So I do talk about, just a lot of things that's been on social media on the podcast, only for a little segment. And plus, like new movies or video games or Comic-Con, what have you. So if you listen to the podcast or you haven't, or unless you've been living under a rock, a couple weeks ago in Disneyland, a grown man was beating women up right in front of Goofy's house. As crazy as that sounds, it's legit. He beat his sister up, his mother up, her boyfriend up, right in front of the kids, right in front of crowds watching, saying, I'm going to go to jail today, all this shit, yada, yada. It took security literally like over 20 minutes to even get there. They weren't even arrested. No cops even came. Come to find out, when they brought them to the parking lot, when he was getting away, because they tried stopping him, he actually hit one of the guys with his car. But all of them got away after all that and blew up social media. Come to find out, 3 of them were arrested. And that main guy, and I say the brother, I'm black and white myself, obviously, but the main brother, the one wearing a pink shirt or what have you, said he was throwing out his gang calls and saying, I'm ready to go to jail today. Well, he's facing a slew of felonies, and he's facing up to 7 years in prison. So I know he was saying, I'm ready to go to jail today, but if you check out his mugshot, he doesn't look like he was ready for it. All right, I'm only touching on that because I brought it up on one of the shows. Real quick, movies. This week, 2 trailers dropped. We had this long-awaited sequel to Zombieland. Zombieland was a sleeper hit. It's a cult favorite now. Everybody loves it. The sequel, it's glad to see everybody back. They're a little older. The story looks good, but it didn't look too great to me. So I hope they don't shit the bed with this one. Seriously, we waited too long for this. Also, a second trailer was released for Will Smith's upcoming action flick called Gemini Man. Now, everybody knows Will Smith used to be the star. He was the GOAT of the 90s, but he sucks anymore. This movie is amazing. I believe it looks like I believe it's from a famous book. If not, who knows? But Will Smith, say he's like in his 40s or something like that, or 50s. He either still works for the military or he used to. Some killer, some assassin is trying to take him out, and this guy's more vicious than he is. If somehow Will Smith actually gets a hold of him, captures him, what have you, and it's himself, but at 25 years old. Years ago, like his evil sergeant took some of his blood, they wind up cloning him, and he sent his 25-year-old self after him in a present. It looks so dope. You've got to check it out. And real quick about Halloween. Huge horror buffs here, which if you listen to the podcast, probably mentioned on old episodes of the show. Halloween news dropped this week. The guys who played Michael Myers, the old and new version, in the 2018 remake, it will return to the 2020 and 2021 sequels. So the same guys playing Michael Myers will be back. If you don't know, they're doing Halloween Kills this October 2020, next October, and then they're doing Halloween Ends October 2021. So we get 2 direct sequels and an end to the story for 2018's Halloween. Same Michael Myers are back. Not only that, there are rumors that they want to bring back the character Tommy Doyle. Tommy Doyle is one of the ones, I think, one of the babysitters babysitted as a kid. He had like a very big part in one of the movies. But then also years later in the film Curse of Michael Myers, which is hit or miss with fans, it depends if you like it or not, Paul Rudd, Ant-Man, actually played him. Well, they reached out to Paul Rudd to reprise his role as Tommy Doyle, but right now Paul Rudd is filming the new Ghostbusters, so he had to turn him down. So who knows if they're going to get him or not, if they're going to do that or not. Of course, it's always great to see old characters brought back, what have you. But we know David Green, or whatever his name is, said that's why he forgot about all the other Halloweens that happened after part 1. His 2018 was a direct sequel to the original. All those ones that came after were erased. So if that's what you're going to do and continue and finish your own story, then don't be bringing in characters from other ones. You know what I mean? So who knows? All right. Well, hey, man, we're back. We're back full force. Whoop, 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 whoop. It's the AEW Insider. Definitely, I like to show support for local people who are doing this too, and people who are my boys. So on Facebook and YouTube, definitely, on Facebook, they'll be on YouTube soon, I bet. Definitely check out the 570 Sports Show. That's my boy John Garza and his crews. They do awesome work. They're doing live events every time. They have great questionnaires like who's the best in this, yada, yada. It's good fun. So check out the 570 Sports Show on Facebook. Also check out, especially if you love WWE, check out Jobber Jabber Wrestling Universe. My boy Two Tooth and all them do great stuff. They're on Facebook, YouTube, what have you. And as always, if you want news from all over the world, but you definitely want the elite, this is all elite all the time. But there's no way we can diss everything else because we're wrestling fans. Like I said, we're dorks here. That's what we do. But if you want all the news, you know what I mean? I'll keep you up to date. Definitely check out our podcast. I do it at least once a week, but a lot more. And I'll be doing these YouTube videos now too. It's pretty much probably going to be the same thing, just depending on which way you want to watch it, what have you. But definitely keep showing us support. We love doing this. All right, so it's the AEW Insider 1 on Twitter, and it's the AEW Insider on Facebook and YouTube. Tweet at me if you want to be on the show, if you want anything talked about in the show, join our Facebook group, what have you. Remember, it's the AEW Insider. I'll be back with a new YouTube video next week, and I'll definitely be back with more podcasts. I'm about to record the second half to that one that messed up now. So remember, peeps, it's the AEW Insider. Ciao.